It is going. How are you?
Good, good, good.
So what has been going on lately? What have I missed?
Not much. Not much.
Sorry for my long hiatus.
Yeah, yeah. So, so, yeah, yeah. I was just watching CNBC today. It was so much fun. Lots of cool stuff happening in Silicon Valley and elsewhere.
You say CNBC and fun in the same sentence, and I just suddenly get confused.
Okay, cool.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine is fun.
Brooklyn 99?
Yeah, that's fun. CNBC is not fun.
What is Brooklyn 99?
You never seen that show? It's on ABC, I think, or NBC, or one of the C's.
Brooklyn 99. Oh, with that SNL guy. Right?
Yeah.
That's a really good show. I added it to my Hulu list, but then I canceled Hulu because I was not watching it. So it's supposed to be really good.
Oh, we can give you a life hack on how to do that, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, we'll save that for later. So yeah, Andy Samberg. I remember he made YouTube popular. It was him who got YouTube. His skit on SNL skit on YouTube made it so mainstream. And then
Oh, you've got that all. Nope, wrong dude.
it's not Andy Samberg.
No, Dane Cook.
Okay, Andy Samberg.
Dane Cook became a multi-millionaire from his things he did on YouTube. He started out as a stand-up comedian on YouTube. He'd never performed, and now he performs. He's performed at Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
That was all Dane Cook.
Okay. I don't remember what that episode SNL skit. Really good. It was really good. I still remember it. Once one of my friends told me about it from one of my classmates told me about it, and he was all pumped up about it. And
Yeah, if you get on Dane Cook's YouTube page, it goes back. I mean, years. And that's how Dane Cook got his start, was because he got such a YouTube following that it just blew up. And obviously Dane Cook is a multimillionaire now and an actor and a comedian. And
yeah, that's cool. How do you spell his name?
Dane, and Cook, like when you make food.
Okay. Dane Cook. Oh, cool.
But the impressive part about him was he saw that as a media platform that he could advertise himself in without actually having to put any money into it. So it was kind of genius.
Well, he's the guy behind
Basically,
MySpace's popularity, right? Yeah.
I don't know if he was on MySpace or not, to be honest with you. I know about his YouTube. I know about his YouTube part because that's what propelled him. But I don't know about the MySpace. He probably was, I'm sure, because basically his idea was, if it's free press, I'm going to take it. And then once he found YouTube, which allowed him to basically do like short bits of stand up, and it started getting like millions of hits, networks started to pay attention and were like, well, wait a minute, that's a lot of people. We can turn that into something. So that was when he was like the first YouTube star, except he actually had talent rather than just being an idiot on YouTube. Like, he actually is a talented comedian.
Cool. Okay,
as opposed to the as opposed to that girl who's like, cash me outside. Like now she's got a record deal. I have been an artist for 15 years. I've played guitar for most of my life. I don't have a record deal, and the cash me outside chick from Dr. Phil got a record deal. Like that's how petty this world is.
Okay. Cool.
It's just horrible.
Yeah.
But Dane Cook, though, is very talented comedian. It's just he found an innovative way through technology to promote himself by using new technology. Because at that point, I mean, I'm serious. This is like very early in YouTube, and he was like, "Awesome! I can post videos here, and people will see it." And then YouTube blew up, and everybody saw his videos, and he became immensely popular.
Okay.
The sad thing that we run into now with technology is that like it's so fleeting. Like, remember when Periscope was what everybody was doing for a couple months, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like it's literally turned into conglomerates now. Google owns YouTube.
Yeah.
And then there's Apple. I mean, basically, Pac-Man just eats anything that's worth something and spits everything else out. Periscope was a thing for a second, and then it just got thrown to the wayside. And Instagram sticks around because it's tied to Facebook, which is tied to Google.
Okay.
I would hate to be an app developer.
Oh, it's so much fun, man.
Yeah, it's such a roll of the dice too. Like, even if you're good at it, like, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna get taken away from you as soon as it's good.
Oh.
I mean, realistically, if someone walked up to you and you wrote an app and they had six figures, they said, "We want it," would you turn it away?
No, because you have to see the long-term vision, right? And your customer base, if they want to go to another company, a larger company.
Well, and things are so fleeting nowadays that if you turn down that offer, in 2 months, you may be worth nothing.
Yeah, but if you see Drew Houston with Dropbox, he was going to be acquired by a big company like Apple. They tried to acquire him. He showed a icon on the status bar to Steve Jobs at the time, and Steve Jobs wanted to acquire him, but he said no, and he became very successful because he knew that he could make more money by staying independent.
Yeah, but that's sort of like becoming, NFL superstar.
Yeah.
Your chances are few and far between. Maybe I'm a stoic, but
He's worth $3 billion now. If he had gone for the offer from Apple, you don't know if he's going to be a billionaire.
no. However, he also could be worth zero.
Right. There's that. Remember from PHS, we had that entrepreneurship class where they said 5% of all businesses fail or no, succeed. Sorry, succeed.
I was gonna say 5. Really? That's all you got? No,
Yeah.
no. 95.
No, 95% fail, and 5% succeed. Yeah. You play Russian roulette when you go for a company. You can't people unless it's business to business. If it's business to consumer, it's very
Yeah, but there's a magic to that though. There's a magic to that where most people who start a business think it will be the best thing since sliced bread, and it will never fail. And I really hate to give Donald Trump any credit for anything, but one thing he did do correctly was when he started a business, he's like, well, it'll probably fail, because he knew the statistics. So when it failed, it wasn't the end of his world. He just went, "No, I'm just going to do this then," and he would start something else. That's the entrepreneur part. Is not don't hold on to this thing forever. Just don't quit creating things. Was the idea. And
you could look at you could look at it on the other side too. George Lucas got rid of Pixar because he had to. He was trying to divorce his wife, and he sold it to Steve Jobs, and he propelled it into what it is today. And then he sold it to Disney.
yeah, I mean, it's not as simple as people like to make it.
Yeah.
As far as what the business side of it is. Like, I just think holding on to a dying idea is a horrible idea. I don't care what part of your life
Okay,
it is.
let's start that.
Anything that is dying, if you hold on to it, you'll die with it.
Okay. And
Okay, I thought we were already here. I was like, wait, what are we doing?
okay, go back to your question. Go back to your question.
But no, I think that there's people in this life that they their entrepreneurial spirit goes, this is my thing. It is the best thing. However, some of those people who are like, I need a duct tape holder. And everybody goes, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. He's like, nope, it's the best thing you've ever heard of.
Okay.
And they hold on to it and they keep pushing it. And everybody goes, no one needs that. No one wants it. You're selling ice to Eskimos. Stop. And he's like, nope, it's definitely a thing. And he dumps all his money in it and loses all of it.
No, but
and never gives up on it. But also, he's like, well, I sold 5 of them. Well, great, but that's not marketable. Like, it's basically entrepreneurs lack the business sense to go. You have to look at it for what it is. Your idea here is to make money. You haven't made any money. So you're not marketable. You can't market something that doesn't sell. I mean, if I brought you a piece of tree bark and I said this is really cool tree bark, you wouldn't buy tree bark. You'd be like, oh, no, I don't need tree bark. That tree's in my yard. Unless it was some special tree bark, right? Or whatever, because there's a lot of that. There's this special tree bark that heals cancer, which people buy into all the time. But like, it's the idea of you have to market it, and if it doesn't sell, you have to be willing to let it go. And a lot of people just don't let it go, and then they lose everything. Donald Trump started, like, everybody says, well, you know how many failed businesses Donald Trump has? And it's like, yeah, he does have a lot of failed businesses. He also is the president. He also is the president of the United States and a multimillionaire. So apparently, at least part of that he did right.
Yeah.
He might have sucked in the beginning, but at some point he got it right.
Right.
And that's because he was willing to let go of things that didn't work. I mean, like Mark Cuban, who has nothing to do with basketball other than the fact that he likes watching the sport, bought a team. Now, thankfully for him, it's one of the best teams. But part of that is he thought it'd be a great idea. He bought it. He put the money into getting good players, and guess what? However, he's also had a bunch of failed investments. Like everybody who has the problem with entrepreneurship in general is that you have to have money to make money, and when people don't have money, they can't make money. Huge problem. huge disconnect. It's not the best idea ever, but if you don't have money, you can't make money. Horrible. I think the Google App Store is pretty awesome about that.
According to popular folklore, Donald Trump started with $100 million from his dad, according to common folk myth or fact.
Who is this?
This is according to mainstream media.
Who?
He got it from his father, Donald Trump, $100 million.
Oh, well, maybe. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. I mean, really.
That's a lot at that time, probably with inflation and depending on the cost of living.
I'll consider inflation and cost of living, but he also started like 10 businesses that failed.
Yeah.
You can't just keep running that money. I mean, at some point you're running out. I mean, that man wrote a book about real estate. Have you ever read it?
Who?
Donald Trump.
The Art of a Deal?
Yeah. He wrote a book about real estate. It is the crappiest book about how to sell real estate. Like, anybody who's in real estate will be like, okay, that Donald Trump book, don't read that.
Oh.
Because basically he used his name, influence, and power to basically sell slums. Like, he was basically just a horrible human being.
But it gets 4.5 stars on Amazon. It's not.
Yeah, because it teaches you how to be a slumlord.
Okay.
However, the same thing could be said about The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Have you ever read that?
Yeah, I've read parts of it. I read
if you read the Sun Tzu,
Matthews.
If you read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, it really teaches you just basically how to decimate a people. Is what it teaches you. It's horrible. I mean, however, there are things in it that are undeniable.
Yeah.
The same could be said for Machiavelli. He was the in Italy. He was their counselor, and he wrote a book called The Prince.
Okay.
And in it, he basically says you basically don't. If you can't be loved, be feared, or both. And both being the actual thing that you want. You want to be feared and loved.
Yeah.
So the idea being that, like, you're scared of me, but I take care of you. However, it's better. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. The quote just hit me. It's better to be feared than loved if you can't be both.
Okay. What does
that
that mean in your
people?
What does that mean to you?
Well, what Machiavelli is saying is that if you're just loved, he explains it in the book. If you're just loved, they'll simply take advantage of you. Just take advantage of you. If you're only feared, then they'll rise against you.
Game theory, right?
Huh?
It's like people say that girlfriends like abusive boyfriends, or not abusive, but asshole boyfriends.
Well, that's a psychological thing. That's different. Well, not really, but a little bit, because that's a protective thing. They see that aggression and they see it as something that can protect them.
Right. I've seen many professors who don't respond to your email because they don't want anyone to take their time unless they're interested.
Right. Well, that's a very subtle form of that.
Yeah.
It's that's more. ah, that's more. Yeah. No, it's more subtle. The when it comes to women in who are in those situations, and I've dealt with many. A lot of times it is literally, well, he's aggressive. That's why I like him, because if anything was to ever to happen to me, he will take care of it. And here's the kicker to that: that is actually a thing. They will. So if that girl is ever in distress, that dude will lose his mind and hurt people. So there's that protective part. Yes, he does occasionally hurt her. However, if anything ever happens to her, he will obliterate that guy, put him in a hospital. And they see that, and then now that's a thing, right? So,
Yeah, it's kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, "I don't want to be a girly man. I don't like girly men. Do you want to be a girly man?" And he pumps that iron and becomes Mr. Universe or whatever.
have you ever actually watched that movie, Mr. Universe?
What did he say?
Have you ever watched the movie, Mr. Universe?
No, not Mr. Universe. I've never seen that. Conan the Barbarian, and Terminator, and all those other ones.
You should check it out. It's kind of amazing because you learn that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a very nice person.
Okay.
He, um, you know who Lou Ferrigno is?
Yeah, the guy behind Hulk.
Yeah. Lou Ferrigno is basically a very, very, very nice guy. And is also was a very staunch bodybuilder. And Arnold Schwarzenegger came in and went, I'm so much better than him. Well, he's nothing compared to me. He's nothing compared to me. And like literally just trashed him
It's kind of like
completely. And
it's kind of like those boxers do. They play mind games with their opponents.
yeah, but it wasn't like that. He literally felt like that.
Okay.
He just thought because he came from better stock
Okay.
that he was better. And Lou Ferrigno was just like, well, whatever, man. That's not nice. Like he never came back at him. He never responded. However, it also has to do with like even it was also on the documentary where Arnold Schwarzenegger goes, "Well, absolutely, I take steroids. We all take steroids. Of course we do, because we're talking about '70s and '80s." And it's like, well, yeah, like why would you not do that? Which now we would think of that
Is it
horribly,
on YouTube? Is that
but
on YouTube? That interview or that book?
um, no, it's a movie.
The movie? Okay.
I don't know if it's on YouTube or not, but it's like he absolutely fundamentally says it, and he's like, well, of course, which we think of that now as crazy, but at the time, like it wasn't a thing like it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they didn't see it, they didn't even know about it. Like there was no way to test for it. So it was like, which by the way, we've done the same thing with creatine and plenty of other supplements. I could go on for days about how we still have um, basically testosterone shots. We just ingest them,
Okay.
and they just keep changing the chemical structure. And every time they get caught, they just change the chemical structure just a little bit, and they add on something here or something there, and they just change the chemical structure. The problem with that is that every time you do that, they don't know what that does to your body. They know it'll still do that thing. However, like adding, a bromium atom here or whatever, like when you start adding shit that you don't know what that's going to do in the human body, technically. You
Was
just
it
go, well,
Pumping
it's probably
Iron?
benign.
Is it Pumping Iron, the name of the movie?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay, 1977. Yeah, that's before I was born.
Yeah, he basically he lays it flat out, and he talks a lot of crap about Lou Ferrigno, which is really horrible because that guy was like everything I've ever heard about that man is even to this date is that he's just a very nice big dude. Like you know who Ari Shaffir is? He's a comedian.
No, the guy for Clinton, the communications director.
No. Ari Shaffir. He's a comedian.
Oh, Shapiro. I don't know. I've heard of Ari Shapiro.
No, Ari Shaffir. I guess he met him once outside of a comedy club, and he literally just looked over at him and went, "You should not smoke. Bad for you." And Ari Shaffir was like, "Okay," and then continued smoking because, like, I understand the statement. Got it. Check. And then a couple of seconds later, he's like, "Really, you should not smoke." And Ari like put his cigarette out, walked around the corner, and lit another one up because he's like, "Fucking Lou Ferrigno, he's huge, dude."
Oh.
But he just really is a big man, and he wasn't doing it to be menacing. He was just like, "That's not good for you." Like, he's just a nice guy. Every time you want a picture with him, you can absolutely have one. He'll pick kids up. He does all that stuff. And he's not running for office.
That was Ari Fleischer. Yeah, that's what I meant. Ari Fleischer. I got mixed up in my head. Ari Fleischer. That's what I was talking about. Press secretary for George
So,
W.
not to change topics and put a screeching halt, but I have questions,
Okay.
especially for the listeners.
Okay.
I live out here in the country, and my new latest hobby has been my grandfather's very, very old farm tools, probably close to 100 years old. And I'm trying to clean them up, and I'm looking for the best way to do it to get the rust and the grime, the dirt, and the whatnot off. I've started with a mixture of salt and vinegar. I've also used CLR, which, by the way, don't ever do that.
Now, can you be slow and then explain what acronyms you're using?
CLR is it's a chemical that stands for calcium, lime, and rust.
Oh, I've seen the infomercial.
Is,
I've seen the infomercial for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's horrible on things.
Yeah.
It leaves a nasty, dirty film that is very hard to get off. You have to scrape it off. It's bad.
Okay.
So I took some chemistry in my head and went old school and said vinegar and salt, which is what I'm currently doing. And I scrape them a little bit every day, and then vinegar and salt, and scrape them a little bit every day, and then vinegar and salt. I was wondering if you had any ideas, or if any of our listeners. I don't want to get too harsh with chemicals. The CLR was pretty harsh. By the way, anybody who's listening to this, don't get CLR on your skin. And here's why.
Okay.
You can wash it off, and you won't feel a thing. But 3 days later, you'll develop a rash. Not a bad one, just enough to be annoying, depending on your skin condition. And that was just from blowback over wind. So stuff's pretty toxic.
Oh.
And also, it doesn't do what it says. There's that. I've had better luck with the salt and vinegar solution that I've been using, but I'm wondering if there's anything else without using like muriatic acid or harsh chemicals.
Well, I'm pulling up this. I'm thinking. Okay. Let's see.
I mean, I'm pretty decent with chemistry. Like, I know that there are harsher chemicals that I can use.
What are you trying to clean? What are you trying to clean?
Well, they're very old hand tools that my grandfather had, but they've been in basically a box shed for years and years, and they've just gotten nasty, rusted, corroded, and dirty.
Okay. Let's see.
So the idea is to clean them as efficiently as possible. I've used rock salt and vinegar, which has actually seemed to be the best thing that I've used. And actually, the
vinegar and baking soda, yeah, half cup vinegar, 1/4 cup baking soda, or 2 teaspoons borax into 1/2 gallon.
Wait. Think about that, sir. You just put a base with an acid.
I don't know. This is what it says: all-purpose cleaner.
You just put a base with an acid. You created a 5th grade volcano is what you just did. And you put baking soda with vinegar and red dye and a clay thing that looks like a volcano. You just created a volcano. You can't put a base with an acid.
Okay.
There's a very physical reaction that happens very quickly. So whatever one you're reading, I'm not doing that.
I've never gone through this process before. I just use whatever the natural
You are much more intelligent than me. You don't know that you put baking soda with vinegar, bad things happen.
Yeah. I was looking at the all-purpose. I was thinking out loud, man. So it's okay.
Oh, that makes me laugh.
Add 1/4 cup of vinegar to your bleach dispenser per load. If you're looking to clean or remove musty smell from your washing machine, then add 3/4 cup of vinegar to your bleach dispenser. Also, your clothing or washer will not smell like vinegar after use.
I could care less about my washing machine.
Yeah. Yeah, this is how do I use vinegar in my front-loading high-efficiency washer to get odors out of clothes.
Well, you shouldn't.
Yeah. So this is the solution. Do you want me to send it to you? Solution?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was good after they said mix baking soda and vinegar. That was somebody playing a prank on me. Here's how you do it. Let's make a huge freaking mess. That'd be like saying, how do I clean my car? Well, what you do is you take a Coke bottle and then you stick a thing of Mentos in it. The entire package.
Mentos and Pepsi bottles and create a rocket that flies in the air?
Yeah, and then do that in your car. It'll clean it. It'll be great. Like, somebody's lying to you, sir.
Think that when it doesn't work, then you pull out a Mentos like they do in those British infomercials and say, Mentos does it. You know?
Have you ever actually done that?
No, I've never like that. There was a commercial where she ripped her dress and she's like, "No, it's okay.
No.
I have a Mentos." And they have the Family Guy episode that's similar to that. Yeah.
I've actually done that.
Okay.
It is very volatile.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
extremely volatile
on YouTube. Yeah.
No, I did it in real life. Like, because I was like, whatever, like candy and pop. I was like, oh, yeah, it's extremely volatile and creates a huge mess. By the way, if you ever decide to try it, make sure you do it like in an open area where there's no like anything around except for you, and wear old clothes because the
You,
bottle does not sit still.
uh,
Like when we did it, we were like, yeah, this will be funny,
this seems
and
like a
oh
Mr.
no.
Mr. Wizard experiment from Nickelodeon.
I remember what was not Bill Nye, but Mr. Beaker? He was Mr. Beaker, right? Who had the rat?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I always liked him. He taught me how to make gack.
Uh, yeah. He's very famous.
And it's all non toxic, like it's actually really safe.
Yeah.
Wish that dude would stick around. Like that my kids could use that.
They have a new Bill Nye Against the World or something on, I think it's
No,
Netflix.
well, no, it is really now Bill Nye Against the World, because Bill Nye basically just has thoughts and opinions about shit that does have nothing to do with science.
What do you think about that? What do you think about evolution versus Christ? Not Adam and Eve. Sorry.
What?
What do you think about evolution versus religious Adam and Eve? Darwinian evolution versus Adam and Eve.
Well, there's an obvious middle ground there. First off, with this could be an entire other podcast, but there's definitely a middle ground.
Okay.
Einstein himself said, "I know for a fact God exists. I've seen him," meaning through science, because he basically got to a point where he went, "I can't explain it beyond that." And the way I explain it to my wife is that something moves the ball.
Uh,
You run into that, which everybody's like, "Oh, Big Bang, blah 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 blah." No, Adam and Eve, blah 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 blah. All you want, and it's like, well, yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's take Adam and Eve out of it. However, how did everything start?
yeah.
Well, it just did. Well, okay, from an atheist logic, that doesn't make sense. Something pushed the ball. Something started the ball rolling.
Oh, so you mean like
Stuff.
Catch 22, chicken and egg problem, right? With the remember we had this conversation about the new theories of after Big Bang that were being cited by many people.
Right. Yeah, you're back to that same deal. It's like, well, something pushed the ball. Like n- nothing moves without movement.
Did you check out Stephen Hawking's latest papers before he died? It was really good. He was working on some really good stuff.
Yeah, I also think that like part of that was like his personal gag to the world, because he did have a sense of humor. But there was like parts of it where I was like, he's being very serious right now, and then there were parts of it where I was like, he's really just fucking with conspiracy theorists, because he used to do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
He had a very good sense of humor. Like,
Well, they had MC Hawking. You remember MC Hawking? That song? Did you
yeah,
see that MC Hawking?
yeah, I've seen like a couple of his clips,
Yeah.
but it's like you do know some of that was for comedic effect, right? But it was like, no, he's being really serious. Like, no, he's not. He doesn't think that like Terminator 3 is going to show up in like 8 years. Like, kidding me right now?
What did he say?
Well, like, he made, like, comments about how, like, well robotics are going to take over the world, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, he doesn't really mean that.
Oh, you're
But
talking
then there's
about
other
him
things.
saying that be scared of AI taking over the world?
Yeah, it's like, he's like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Because he's been the forefront of that. And he's like, yeah, that's programmable. And we're not going to program AI to do that. Or you're going to have a backdoor. Like, as far as coding goes, like, there are plenty of ways that I can screw this up. Or physically. Because that's the thing, too, that most people, like, when people look at a computer, they just think it's coding. It's like, no, there's physical parts of it.
Yeah.
So, like, you can literally just put a physical part in this that says stop.
Yeah.
Like, shut off. It's a button. It's like,
He talks about the three laws of Asimov, right? And
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Have you heard the song MC Hawking? What we need more of is science. You have to check it out. It's on YouTube. It's very funny. I don't know if he liked it or not. And before he died.
well, isn't it free to? Oh no, it's probably not free to license now. Somebody in his family has it.
Do you see the movie about him? Theory of Everything. It's a very sad movie. His wife cheats on him.
I've never seen any of his movies. I've read one of his books.
Yeah. Have you seen the? Have you read the Brief History of Time? Or the movie?
Yes, that's actually the one I own.
Okay.
However,
and PBS episode on I think it's Nova or something it came out in 2014.
he's very ironic though, because it's not a brief history of time.
Yeah. It's about his life, great scientific discoveries, etc.
Like, I was like, well, this is not what I expected at all. Like, I was like, well, this is not. But
yeah. That's when the movie Brief History of Time is from '91, supposedly. It's on YouTube too. So
I don't trust any movies. There's too artistic license and.
Are you interested in his friend Roger Penrose?
Say what now?
Roger Penrose.
I don't know who that is.
He has very good books. You have to check it out. He has this really good book that's about AI, artificial intelligence, called "The Emperor's New Mind: Concerning Computers' Minds and the Law of Physics." That came out in 1989. Sorry.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You should send me that. Send
you the link.
Yeah, send me a link.
It's just a brief summary of the AI achievements and Turing machine. It's like computer science 101 with some.
You know who aggravates me really badly right now?
What?
Who's the black dude who is pontificating about space right now?
Oh, Neil deGrasse and Tyson.
Yes, that dude makes me so angry.
No,
there are things he says. There are things he says where I go, dude, that is fundamentally wrong. And he is on national news. And I'm like, that is fundamentally wrong.
Yeah.
That is not correct.
Yeah.
That's not even close to correct.
You like his Cosmos on Fox Network?
Yeah, he says things, and I'm like, I don't. Why would? I mean, I understand people don't know science, but like, seriously, you just lied to people on national television. And like Michio Kaku has had a conversation with him where Michio Kaku just basically shut down and he went, "I'm not talking to this man anymore," because basically this is an idiot and I'm going to stop talking.
You don't watch Star Talk on National Geographic Channel? I think it's National Geographic Channel or some other channel, or the podcast.
I don't know where it was, but I just remember Michio Kaku going, "Okay, look, I actually do know science," and no,
Okay.
and just basically shutting down. He just shut down. He's like, "Well, this is what I think." He's like, "You can continue to say that all you want.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to talk anymore because you're obviously an idiot." That dude has said statements and here's the funny part. I am not an astrophysicist. However, I have walked past the screen and heard him say a statement and went, "That is fundamentally not true."
Yeah.
And like, if I can do that as a guy in Kansas who knows a little bit about science, I'm pretty sure that you can't argue with Michio Kaku, who's one of the most brilliant astrophysicists that we've known.
Yeah, I like his stuff. One of his things I really like is he says Michio Kaku. He says that they're gonna send DNA over the space, to Mars or to some other thing, Kepler 525 or whatever that is, Kepler 25, or one day that's an habitable place once the environment is enriched, and then they're gonna make that, convert that to breed humans from that DNA.
Well, that sounds somewhat realistic.
Because it's much cheaper to send DNA than send the human being that far, unless you're using.
Me and my wife have this conversation on the regular, where she goes, "Philosophy is useless," and I go, "Well, you fundamentally can't say that." She goes, "Why?" And I go, "Do you like your lights?
Yeah.
The lights that are on in this house?" She goes, "Yeah." I go, "Where do you think they come from?" She goes, "Science." I go, "Okay. And how do you think that started?"
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what philosophy was. Like,
Well, philosophy is very important. Where I went to school, they were #1 in the world in philosophy, and that trained them to become very good lawyers, very good thinkers, abstract thinkers, and thinking in terms of logic, in terms of proofs.
well, you just said it. Abstract thinkers.
Yeah.
So that's what makes great scientists. Like, Tesla was an abstract thinker. He didn't think like everybody else. So, like,
yeah,
you can't say that there's no value in philosophy.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of philosophers that I just am not a big fan of. I mean, Henry David Thoreau, I've read all his stuff. I'm tired of reading about a guy who lives in a shed. I'm just sick of it. Like, it doesn't interest me. It's not appealing. And so I quit. And people are like, "Have you read all of Thoreau?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "You should read it to the end." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure I got it." He's a lonely guy who lives in a shed.
Do you watch?
And said, "I don't want to be around people."
Okay. Do you watch mainstream media that much, or do you stick with books from the library, fiction and nonfiction?
At this point in my life, honestly, I don't really. I don't watch TV.
That's good.
Don't really follow the news. I follow the news as much as I should. I'm really concerned about what's happening in Hawaii. but mostly podcasts. A, they talk about things that are currently happening, but they do it with comedic effect, which means I get the news, but I get it on a funny slant, which is better because I don't just want some random lady staring at me.
Do you like the Daily Show or The Last Word?
I like the Daily Show. I've never heard of The Last Word. I used to like the Colbert Report, but honestly,
Like Real Time with Bill Maher?
I can't stand Bill Maher. He's so slanted.
But he's one of the most, according to his education background, he seems like the most smartest comedian out there late night.
Oh,
he has a degree from Cornell.
He's so slanted.
Yeah.
He talks about exactly what he wants to talk about, and anytime you try to argue with him, he just uses the talent of comedy to make you into an asshole. So basically, he's a bully.
Okay.
So anytime you argue with him, he just makes he turns into a bully and makes you an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair.
But he's not
having a conversation with you. You're having a conversation with him.
Okay.
And if you're not on his side, then you lose.
Right.
That's not fair. That's not how that should work.
Yeah, I don't like his foul language. It's unnecessary. But he's a good. He's
you know what?
Person.
I am perfectly fine with foul language when used appropriately. However, if every other word out of your mouth is fuck, that means that you can't come up with anything else to say.
Okay.
That's the only thing. Like, if the only words that you can conjugate and put into a sentence have to have fuck in it or whatever, and you have an inability to complete a sentence.
It's not good for little kids, right? You shouldn't have kids in an environment where they're saying some foul language. It's very bad. It's detrimental. What if it comes out when they're doing something at work, or if they're doing something at school? What are their
I think we should all be grown up here and realize that the words, Carlin said it best. What are the seven deadly words? Fuck, ass, bitch, cunt. Like, that's 4. Titties. I don't know. I don't know what all of them were, but whatever it was, the whole point of it was that it's not the idea that you're using the word. It's if you rely on it that much, then that's really a statement to where you're at in your head. Like, I'll slip up and curse on occasion.
Right.
But that's for effect, and that's different. It's sort of like an exclamation point, right? So when I curse, it's an exclamation point. I don't curse all the time. But when I do, it's an exclamation point. I really meant that.
Right.
However, when I hear somebody go, well, F this, F that, and F that other thing, and by the way, and this happened, blah, 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 like, okay.
You don't like Richard Pryor?
You ran out of adjectives. You ran out of adjectives.
Or Chris Rock?
Dictionary.
Do you like Chris Rock or Richard Pryor? They use a lot of F words in their comedic stand-up. You're a big fan of
however,
comedy.
Richard Pryor uses them very specifically.
Yeah.
Like, when Richard Pryor says it, it's for effect.
Yeah.
It's not the story. Like, that's not the joke. That's the thing. The joke isn't that he used the word fuck. That's the exclamation point at the end. which it is an exclamation point, or it should be, which is ironic because that's not even what it means. Do you know what it means?
Yeah.
Ironically? I don't know if we ever talked about this. You know what fuck means?
What happened? What happened, man? Everything okay?
Oh shit. I lost you?
No, I'm still there. I'm still there.
See? I just used it appropriately. I said, oh shit, did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose. You didn't lose me. I'm still there. I was just playing with my Apple Watch charger.
Oh. Well, what I was asking was, do you know what the actual definition of the word fuck is?
No, I've not looked it up. Actually, I looked it up in Urban Dictionary once. I'm not a spelling bee guy. I'm not a spelling bee guy.
It means fornicate under consent of the king.
Okay.
You know what that means?
What does that mean?
We'll process it for a second. I'll let you go. Fornicate under consent of the king.
Oh, like the English 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 monarchy, the king, right?
Yep.
Fuck under the okay or the acceptance of the king.
Right. So basically, one of his princes or paupers or whoever the hell he decides basically gets to have sex with your wife before he gets married. There was a purpose behind that. It was to breed out the stock. So the idea was that an Englishman would knock her up. She wouldn't get pregnant with a Scot.
Okay.
So the entire word is an acronym.
Yeah. So what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it, right? Could be the context,
No.
right?
Yeah, I mean, like in this day and age,
I just don't want people to use the F word in school. That's just very bad manners, you know. In my opinion, I went to Catholic school. No one used the F word.
My thing is why don't you just take the breath out of it? Once you take the breath out of it, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm looking it up in the Oxford Unabridged English Dictionary and the word usage. Let's see, site oed.com, FUCK. Let's see.
You just take the if you take the wheels out from under it, it's sort of like the word retard. Everybody thinks retard is a bad word now. That's a bad word. You know what was the worst word?
What's the worst word?
Slow.
What's wrong with that? How do you spell that? It's slow. SLOW?
No. No. This is proper English, not an acronym. Like when you talk about people who have mental illness, when you go backwards, it was worse than it is now.
Okay. What does that have to do with FUCK?
Dull was one.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about words that like we have like such a hang up on.
Talk about the spelling bee, man.
We have such a hang up on these words, and it's like you do know there were worse words, right?
Yeah.
And fuck was just an acronym. It wasn't even. It was a military thing, actually.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because that was what they were told to do. Fornicate under the consent of the king, meaning don't let there be more Scots here impregnate a girl.
No, nothing wrong with that, you know.
But
Human.
if like a lot of it was
If
just
you ever consent, you know. So, what do you think about the spelling bee, Bobby?
spelling bee.
Yeah, they have the spelling bee on ESPN. Do you see that? Like, it's mostly ruled by Indian kids in the last uh, Indian Americans in the last 15 years or something, 15 or more years. Pretty much.
Well, if they're better, they're better. I mean,
Any thoughts? Do you ever try the spelling bee in your childhood?
oh, I was really good.
Oh, that's good.
I actually won a couple spelling bees, but I mean, who cares who wins? I don't. My thing is like, why is it a thing? Like, I guess step up your game. Like, I don't try harder.
Well, my theory is that
I grew up as a poor white boy.
okay.
I played basketball against dudes who were black and 6 inches taller than me. If I could even keep up, I felt pretty good about myself.
Yeah,
So I
that's
don't get it.
that's
I'm
cool.
like, well, yeah, of course they're better.
Well, I used to play against these 7'1" guys, and then I used to be the center, and I used to rebound the ball. Just imagine. I'm not 7'1".
Right. Like, I mean, like, I get it. It's obvious. Like,
Yeah.
fucking better. Like,
Even when I was in school, I used to play against such really tall African American people, and it was fun. It was fun. I was scared that I might get injured. I might fall on their
well, and
foot.
it was never a thing. Like, I don't understand why it's a thing. I don't. Our society has gotten so weird. Like, so weird. We're all so concerned about what everybody thinks, and you know what? Most of us don't care. Like, I really don't care. And I don't say that to be dismissive. I just mean like, oh, if you're a black dude, that's cool. If you're a white dude, that's cool. If you're a Muslim dude, that's cool. If you're Hindu, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. I don't care. I've got things to do. I've bills to pay. I don't really care. I'll talk to you about it. I'll be interested too, but I'm not gonna throw a fit. Like, I don't give a shit. That's not where my money comes from. You're not the dude who signs my check. And by the way, the dude who signs my check is Muslim. So, like, I don't care. I don't care.
Cool.
And I don't know. I just have a hard time comprehending why people make such a deal of it.
Deal of what?
Just of where your money comes from and what you do. And
No,
I
I
can't
didn't.
believe you work for that guy. And it's like, why? He owns a business. Like, so what? He's not allowed to own a business? So what are you doing? Stop it.
Well, I didn't say anything about that, Bobby.
Oh, maybe I run off on a tangent. Sorry.
Everything okay? Everything okay? I just worried. I'm worried. Last time you just said something random, and then I was like, whoa. We're talking kind of random access conversation. I know we are, but
I am the definition of random.
So it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't take it seriously. Any Elon Musk questions of the day before we end this conversation? You love Elon Musk. Big Elon Musk fan, you.
Oh my God, that dude. What is he doing?
Well, today he had some investors conversation or something, annual investors conversation. I was watching this annual report or something. Yeah, I was watching CNBC and
Wait. Can you make a marker in your software?
marker. What do you mean marker?
Like, mark this point. That way you can cut it.
I mean? I can tag it. I can tag it in my Logic Pro. Yeah, no, not a problem.
Okay, do that. Dude, I seriously got to sit down with you with some better software. All right. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording. Yeah. Everything okay, or is it bad? It's choppy on your side?
No. You've never really edited like audio, really, have you?
Oh, I've edited lots of audio in my life. Yeah.
Well, then what the? So put a marker where I started being stupid, and then get another one.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right. What the hell is it with Elon Musk? He's doing what he does, and then Donald Trump comes out and says, "We're starting a sixth part of our army, our military. It's going to be the space." I'm like, really, dude? You're going to trump JFK? JFK just wanted us to get to the moon, and you're going to go with, nope, we have a space army. You were really bold to build a wall, which was dumb as hell.
Space army? What does he mean by space army?
Ever back in
I've never seen that before.
What?
I've never heard about Trump talking about space armies.
Just today, he came out. He was like,
okay,
we're thinking about putting on a sixth branch. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. You don't even have a proper space program, and you want to have a space army? Like, that's sort of like saying, well, we don't have tanks or guns or anything, but what is a space army? What? That doesn't make any sense. That'd be like in the Civil War if they said, we're going to start a tank army. Except they don't have any technology.
I see what he means. I see what he means. We're gonna have Star Wars defense system, like they had when Reagan was president, and Carl Sagan was like, it's gonna take billions and billions of dollars.
Well, Star Wars didn't turn out like they intended it, but it turned out. I mean, we are able to shoot rockets out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you can't just go like, ta-da, we have a space army. And it's like, this isn't Starship Troopers, dude. Like, you can't
or
just
Armageddon where they
say that.
You remember Armageddon? Deep Impact? There's so much Hollywood about this.
Yeah, the funny part is the Hollywood part is better than what he's doing.
Okay.
Because at least they were realistic enough to go, we can't fucking do this. Like, this will not work. Like, at least they said, like, there are very slim chances that this will actually.
So what is the gist of it? What is the reasoning behind it?
He has decided that.
What did he say?
Space. He's basically going to re-JFK, start a space program, So that apparently, I think his idea, honestly, is that we can have kind of like a revolving door around the Earth where if we just want to come down and kick your ass, we can just send rockets from space.
Okay.
However, this is also coming from a man who has no idea about astrophysics or what it takes to get a rocket into space and revolve. Like he's basically just talking out of his butt. But
But
he
why
means it.
why don't they fund, like, why don't they fund some other, like, there's the DoD, right? Why don't they fund research into this, right? And see if they get something good out of it, right? Spend some $1 million and get some funding and privatize it. You know, why does the government have to
Well,
pay the money for bill?
realistic, realistically, this would be absolutely unnecessary if you would have never shut down the NASA program.
What?
They'd probably already be here.
Apple program? What?
Yeah, they defunded NASA. Like,
No, and NASA's still funded, man.
not to the extent it was.
Let me check NASA's budget since the last N years. Let's see. NASA budget for last 10 years. Yeah.
They basically just said no.
Okay, let's see. Budget for NASA. Uh, let's see. Yeah, it's constant, man. It's not changed, man. It's the
Oh
same.
man, now I gotta agree with Trump. Fake news.
Look here. Budget of NASA. I sent you the link via Facebook.
Well, okay, I am a little pissed off at NASA.
What's wrong with NASA? What do you have any problems with NASA?
I do. You sent a freaking toy on the Mars and then it fell over. And you went, well, shit.
Okay, maybe we should end this conversation now, Bobby. Maybe when you're feeling better.
But that was $10 million, dude. Like you can't well shit that one.
Whoa, that was weird, man. I don't understand what you're saying. Like random nouns you're saying.
When the rover fell over, the thing is still there. It just fell over on the side. And we're like, well, that's fine. Like, no, it's not. You know
No,
how much money we put into this?
New rover. They're gonna ship it. And NASA. Did you hear about that? The next rover going to Mars.
Yeah, better idea. The one that, yeah, actually hovers. That makes more sense. However, the first one that we spent millions of dollars on just fell over, and they're like, well, that sucks. I'm like, you act like you dropped $10, dude. Like, that's not that's
What do you think about this reproduction Mikaku Kaku guy? Is the statement that we should just send DNA there and have them just populate that particular Earth like.
well, first off, we've found water. We found water. We know we found water. I wouldn't send DNA there.
Yeah.
I'd send something organic. What is the most resilient? Oh no, I do know what that is. that grass that grows on a volcano. Have you ever seen it?
No.
There is actually grass that grows on a volcano. That is no shit. It does.
Maybe we should put that on our lawn, right? It'll be very resilient.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, put that there.
Why don't they find out?
See if it sprouts.
Genetics
for that. If it sprouts, then we've got something.
Particular grass, and put it on our topsoil, and it's resilient to everything, right? It's.
Well, I mean, JFK was pretty smart about that. He was like, well, let's see if we can get there. All right, well, let's see if we can walk there. Like, baby steps. Baby steps. All baby steps.
Well, we don't know what happened during JFK's time, man. We don't know anything about history. We can read books, but
yeah, no, it could all be fake, and it could have been a backdrop, and seriously, you're gonna buy into that? There was a backdrop. There was a dude.
Okay, let's talk later, Bobby. I think we should end this conversation. I think you're not feeling well. You seem very strange today. I don't want you to feel bad. I don't want to say anything. I just want to end this right now. Okay?
No, I like to have intriguing conversations.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk later. Okay? I have to eat now. So I'll talk later.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll talk later. Okay?
Okay.
Just make sure you don't do anything weird before we talk, so your conversation is coherent and understandable. You know, because sometimes you just drift off into people's names that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. Very strange, though.